The last video that I shot while underway ends Tuesday morning. I didn't make it in that day. Ahead of GANNET, in there, if you look ahead of GANNET and in that video, that gray line you see was a fog bank. We sailed into it and visibility dropped down to about 100 yards. Had I not had, without a depth sounder working, which I didn't, had I not had GPS positions on the chart plotting apps in my iPhone, I would have had to turn around and go back out to sea. I should say that the view you're seeing is from our terrace. We're looking out toward Skull Creek. GANNET is out there. You can't see her with this lens on this GoPro. Everything seems more distant than in fact it is. Some might say that the trees are in the way of the view, but I consider that the trees are part of the view. Yesterday a front came through. Carol was here and we stayed inside and watched the oaks and the Spanish moss dance in the wind and rain fall on Skull Creek. Anyway, we got into the fog bank and I was heading toward the sea buoy. Finally I could hear it, and the chart plotting software indicated I was probably within 100 yards of it, but I never did see it. I had reduced sail because I wanted to be going more slowly. The land underwater along shores is usually similar to the land above, where you have steep cliffs falling into the sea, you have deep water nearby. This is called the low country. The highest point on Hilton Head Island is something like 26 or 28 feet above sea level. And so it's shallow a long way out, miles in places. We proceeded toward the entrance channel to Port Royal Sound. Port Royal Sound is that way. You're looking northwest here, basically. And as we neared the first set of buoys, I was able to see them. And within a half an hour or so, the fog lifted and I could see the whole 10-mile ocean side coast of Hilton Head Island. I don't know if you can see it on this. With this lens, a couple of people have sails up down there. That's fairly rare. I haven't seen many people sailing here. We followed the entrance channel in. GANNET, there are places where GANNET needed to be in the channel. There are other places where she could have wandered a bit out, but without a depth sounder, I stayed actually just on the outside, just on the port side of the channel, just outside of the buoys. There weren't any other boats or ships around. We got into the mouth of Port Royal Sound late in the afternoon with the wind and the tide against us. I tacked and tacked and tacked, trying to get deeper into the sound without any real success, and finally about sunset I dropped the anchor in roughly 40 feet of water. Spent the night there. I was the only boat out there. I didn't see any other boats all that day except for that ship in the morning that was off of somewhere out there beyond Hilton Head. I telephoned the marina just before they closed and told them I was anchored 7 miles away and that I would be around in the morning. It was pleasant enough out there, although a bit cool. I think a bit below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 4 centigrade. But I had a good sleeping bag. It was kind of hard to get out of the sleeping bag in the morning. First light here is around 7, I guess. So I got up, got a torpedo onto the stern and got it to start, and then raised the anchor and sailed up Port Royal Sound until I got to the mouth of Skull Creek, which is over that way. I furled the jib, and well, I had already lowered the mainsail. I furled the jib within a couple of 100 yards of that marker, and then powered slowly in with a torpedo. I had the tide with me then. It was beautiful coming in here. There are some mansions out on the corner of Hilton Head that you wouldn't see from the street. Off of Picnic Island, there's a sand spit with a flock of birds. A dolphin came and swam companionably alongside Gannet. Pelican glided by. Fred, the dockmaster, was waiting for me, and as I approached, he waved his arms and shouted that he'd go down and show me where my slip is, which is, as I say, out that way. He did. Took the lines. Gannet glided in and tied up. I've observed that Gannet has never before had a home port, and now she does. I like it here a lot. It is beautiful. It is almost always completely quiet, except for natural sounds. Passage over.